I want you to think about the last time you got a raise. Maybe it was a promotion you worked 2 years for, or a job switch that finally got you to the number you had in your head. You did the math in the parking lot, on your phone, probably with your hands shaking a little. You figured out what the extra money meant per month. And for one brief moment, you felt like things were finally going to change. And then 6 months later, nothing changed. Your account still hits the same low point every month, the week before payday. You still hesitate before buying something that costs more than $100. You still feel that low grade financial anxiety that never fully goes away, no matter what your salary says on paper. Here's what nobody tells you: earning more money without understanding the crap that's built around it doesn't make you richer. It makes you a more expensive version of broke. And today I'm going to show you exactly how that happens, dollar by dollar, because once you see the mechanism, you cannot unsee it. First, I need to say something clearly. This is not your fault. You are not bad with money. You are not undisciplined or irresponsible. You are a rational person responding to a system that was designed to absorb every dollar you earn before you even get a chance to use it. The middle class in America has been running faster and faster on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. And the cruel joke is that working harder, earning more, actually makes the treadmill move faster. Most personal finance content will tell you to cut your lattes and make your own lunch. That advice is not wrong, but it is insulting because it ignores the structural forces that are draining your income at a scale that no latte budget can fix. What's actually happening to your money operates at a level most people never examine. And it starts the moment your paycheck gets bigger. Let's say you've been making $65,000 a year and you get bumped to $85,000. That's a $20,000 raise. And on paper, it sounds life-changing. But here's the first thing that happens before you see a single dollar of it. The government takes a bigger cut, not just on the new money, but effectively on all of it. Here's why. America uses a progressive tax system, which means the more you earn, the higher percentage you pay on the top portion of your income. That extra $20,000 doesn't get taxed at the same rate as your first $40,000. It gets taxed at the highest rate you've reached, which could be 22%, 24%, or higher, depending on your state. By the time federal income tax, state income tax, and payroll taxes are done with your raise, that $20,000 might actually deliver $12,000 to $13,000 in real take-home pay. You got a $20,000 raise and kept $12,000 of it, and that's before you've spent a single cent. Now, some people know this and think, okay, fine, $12,000 extra a year is still $1,000 a month. That's meaningful, and it is right up until the moment that lifestyle inflation activates. Let me put a number in your head that I want you to sit with for a second. In 1985, the median household income in the United States was about $23,000 per year. Adjusted for inflation, that's roughly $67,000 in today's dollars. A family living on that income in 1985 could buy a median-priced home for around $75,000, which in today's dollars is about $215,000. The median home price right now is hovering around $420,000. So wages, adjusted for inflation, have gone up modestly over the past 4 decades, but the cost of being middle class has nearly doubled. Housing, health insurance, childcare, car payments, and college tuition have all grown at rates that outpace inflation and outpace wage growth by a massive margin. What this means practically is that a raise today doesn't give you more purchasing power. It barely keeps you level, and in many cities, it doesn't even do that. You're earning more in dollar terms, feeling like you're finally making progress, and in real terms, you're standing completely still. Okay, let's get into the actual mechanics, because this is where it gets visceral. You get that $20,000 raise and it becomes $12,000 in your pocket after taxes. That's $1,000 a month in new income. Now, watch what happens to it. You've been driving a car that's 8 years old and finally feels like a liability. The raise feels like permission to upgrade. A new car payment at the median amount right now is about $735 per month. That's $735 gone. You've got $265 left from your raise. Your landlord, seeing that you renewed a lease and the market has moved, bumps your rent by $200 a month at renewal, which is below average for most major cities right now. That's $200 gone. You've got $65 left from your raise. Your employer switches health insurance plans during open enrollment. It happens constantly, and your premium goes up $80 a month. You're now $15 in the negative from a $20,000 raise. And none of those decisions felt reckless. The car felt reasonable after years of repairs. The rent increase wasn't your choice. The insurance change wasn't your choice. But the trap doesn't care about your intentions, it just cares about your income, and it expands to meet it every single time. Here's the part that makes this so hard to fight, and it has nothing to do with math. Human beings are wired for something called hedonic adaptation, which is just a sciencey way of saying we get used to everything fast. The apartment that felt luxurious when you first moved in feels normal within 3 months. The car that made you smile every morning becomes invisible to you by summer. The restaurant you used to save up to visit becomes your regular Tuesday spot once your income justifies it. And here's the brutal consequence of this. Your baseline standard of living keeps creeping upward with every income increase, which means your dissatisfaction level stays exactly the same. You're not happier at $85,000 than you were at $65,000 because your expectations scaled perfectly to match your income. This is the hedonic treadmill, and it is running in the background of every financial decision you make, whether you know it or not. The middle class trap is not just economic, it's neurological. You are biologically wired to consume your own raises before you can invest them. And then there's the social dimension, which nobody wants to talk about because it makes us uncomfortable. When your income goes up, your social circle notices, maybe not explicitly, but in the way people calibrate expectations. The friend group that used to do cheap dinners now suggests the nicer restaurant because you got that promotion, right? The family that used to give practical gifts now expects you to contribute more at the holidays because you're doing well. Your coworkers at your new salary level dress a certain way, drive certain cars, live in certain neighborhoods, and there is a quiet but relentless social pressure to signal that you belong. This is not vanity. This is the deeply human need for belonging, and it costs a fortune. Financial researchers call this expenditure cascades when the spending norms of a higher income group pull up the spending of everyone trying to affiliate with that group. You didn't decide to spend more because you're weak or materialistic. You spent more because the social environment around a higher income is expensive by design. So what do you actually do about it? Because I'm not going to leave you with a problem and no framework that's not useful to anyone. The core move is this. You have to create a hard separation between earning more and spending more. And that separation has to be automatic and immediate. The moment a raise or a bonus hits your account, before it touches your lifestyle, it needs to be redirected automatically to a place you don't see and don't spend from. This is called paying yourself first. And I know you've heard it before, but the version most people practice is wrong. Most people pay themselves after all their bills, after all their discretionary spending, after the month is over, and whatever's left, if anything, goes to savings. The actual version is a standing automatic transfer that moves a fixed percentage of every raise directly into a brokerage account or retirement vehicle before it ever touches your checking account. You never see it, you never feel it, and you never get the chance to spend it. The second move is what I call the raise freeze for 90 days after any income increase. You make zero changes to your fixed costs. No new car, no apartment upgrade, no lifestyle shift of any kind. You live exactly the way you lived before the raise for 3 months. What this does is force the new income to accumulate as capital instead of being immediately converted into a higher cost structure. After 90 days, you can evaluate from a position of strength with actual savings in your account rather than from the emotional high of suddenly feeling flush. The third move is reframing what wealth actually means in a system designed to take your money. Wealth is not your income, it's the gap between what you earn and what your life costs. A person making $60,000 with $40,000 in fixed costs is building wealth faster than a person making $120,000 with $115,000 in fixed costs. Every raise you get is either an opportunity to widen that gap or an invitation to close it. The middle class trap is designed to make sure you always close it. Your only job is to refuse. Here's the mindset that changes everything. And I want you to write this down if you take nothing else from this video. Your income is not your wealth, it's your raw material. And right now, the system around you, the tax code, the housing market, the car industry, the social pressure of your income peer group is very efficiently converting that raw material into someone else's profit before you can convert it into your own freedom. The middle class was told that earning more was the answer. Work harder, get promoted, make more money, and eventually you'll feel financially secure. But earning more without controlling the cost structure around your income is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour faster, but the bucket never fills. The families and individuals who actually build wealth in the modern economy are not the ones with the highest salaries. They are the ones who figured out how to make the system absorb less of what they earn, who held the line on their fixed costs while their income grew, and let the gap compound into real, lasting financial independence. That is the way out of the trap. Not earning more, earning smarter, and protecting what you earn before the system gets its hands on it.